So it's today is September 16th, and we're stood in the field, which if you look on the previous videos, it's the field that was a standing barley pea green manure, and we worked it right in with the drill with the Pottinger Terrasem, and that was on July 26th when we did that, and it's now September 16th. It's been extremely dry this summer, and so none of this germinated until probably, I would say, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So I guess that's talking about, thinking of cover crops and stuff in this part of the world. I guess that's one downside that we have, is our lack of moisture and variability of moisture. We can't really depend on rain when we want it. So there's not as much development here as we wanted, obviously, but I just wanted to show you what is going on right now. So you can see all the barley, or a lot of barley and forage peas here, just to give you an idea. That's how mature it was when we worked it in. You can see the barley there. There's a pea there also on top of the ground, so everything was quite mature. So we did that for two reasons. One was we wanted to have trash above the ground, so we wanted our cover. So we worked it late so as it didn't break down. That was the other reason why we did it. We didn't want it to break down as quickly. We wanted it to be a higher carbon source for the soil, to see what the difference is there. And when we were in here with the drill, the reason we had the drill is because we were planting tillage radishes. So there's a radish there, so you can see they're coming up quite nicely. They got a long ways to go though till they do anything useful, which is kind of a downside. Here's one I've dug up just to give you the idea of the kind of root mass we got and everything. So they're still very early. They got lots of growing to do yet, which I'm not sure if we'll get that growth or not. But I guess you don't know until you try. So we got her in. You can also see here there's a worm there, some worms. And now something I also noticed is, so we've just had enough moisture here really to moisten the soil down to about, 6 inches, I suppose. So the worms have come up to that moisture. All summer we had a hard time finding any worms, but now they're back in the soil profile. So, that's something to note about worms. If you're looking for worms and trying to keep an eye on that, they will go down. When it's dry and hot, they're going to go down. And this summer they went down a long ways. I couldn't really find any, to be honest, but they're back up to the surface now. So the other thing I wanted to see here was how far the roots are going down. Right here it's actually quite hard in this field, which is, we had corn silage here a couple years ago, and I don't think the compaction's really out of here at all from when we did that. So it's nice to see though the roots are down, although there's not much growth on top. We're only probably 3 or 4 inches, but the roots are also down 3 or 4 inches. So we got the amount of root hairs in here, as you can see, is quite impressive. So hopefully that does a lot of good to the soil. And our plan here, we will leave this. You can also see some peas here. We'll leave this likely until freeze up. So we'll let this die off with the frost. We're not going to work it ahead. We'll let it die off with the frost, and then we will come back in here and we'll work it up then. The reason we're going to work it up then is no other reason than the thistles. You can see some Canada thistle here. That's the only reason we'll be working it. If we didn't have Canada thistle, then we'd just leave it alone. So we'll work it for the Canada thistle. The other thing we noticed, so part of the reason we left so much trash is we wanted the cover. And we were hoping that by leaving cover, the perennial weeds wouldn't take over as bad, because there'd be less sunlight. But sadly, I don't think it really did much at all for the thistle. They seem to be, well, they're definitely worse than they were the middle of the summer. When we worked it under, there wasn't really any thistles here. Now you can see there's the odd thistle, kind of everywhere really. There's one there. They're just kind of scattered all over. That up on the hill is actually alfalfa from spreading manure. But there's the odd thistle here and there and kind of everywhere. So we're trying to kill them this fall. But yeah, I figured I'd share that with you. So that was again, this was behind that John Deere track tractor with the Pottinger Terrasem drill. So talk to you another time.